20 demons caught on camera in America.
Are you seeing that?
That's not a costume. Look how it moves.
That no one has ever explained. Not legends, not campfire stories. 20 real videos, 20 real locations you can find on Google Maps in 10 seconds. And one detail that repeats every single time. In every single case, the person filming never runs. They back away, slowly, one step at a time. Like some part of them already knows deep down that running would wake up something worse. I'm showing you these in order, from the strangest to the very last one. The one that was filmed less than 6 feet from a child's bed. Subscribe now, because starting at number 12, you're going to want to check that your front door is locked. And trust me, number 1 is going to stay in your head long after you close this video. Maybe longer than you'd like. Demon number 20. The bottom of Lake Champlain, Vermont, 9:36 p.m. A kayaker is heading back after sunset, guided only by the pale glow of his phone. The water is flat, not a breath of wind, not a single ripple breaking the surface. His fish finder, left running by mistake, picks up a mass 6 meters down that matches his paddling speed exactly. Not faster, not slower, perfectly synced. He stops to check the device, convinced it's malfunctioning. The mass stops too, to the second. He doesn't touch his paddle again until he reaches the dock. The next day, a technician inspects the sonar unit. No malfunction found. No software glitch, nothing logged. Demon number 18. The Thing in the Atchafalaya Swamp, Louisiana, 7:58 p.m. A night hunter crosses the marsh in a flat-bottom boat, his headlamp cutting a narrow tunnel through the fog. The muddy bank reveals a single deep print, far too deep for a man his size, with no other tracks leading to it at all, like something simply landed there, standing upright and vanished into thin air. His thermal camera catches one motionless heat signature at the edge of the frame, one that none of the 3 men on board saw with their own eyes that night, not until they reviewed the tape. Demon number 17. The Keeper of the Redwood Forest, Northern California, 4:20 p.m. 2 hikers film a perfect circle of ancient trees, bark stripped clean at shoulder height all the way around the ring, like something enormous had turned in place over and over, methodically, almost ritually. Their compass needle drifts for no reason, at the exact same spot every time they check it. They never find the source of the low, guttural growl that sends them turning back 12 minutes later, half running down the trail. Demon number 16. The Silhouette on the Cliffs of Point Reyes, California, 2:14 a.m. A night fisherman sweeps his light across the cliffside and stops on a shape clinging to bare rock at a height no climber could reach without ropes and gear. It doesn't move for the long seconds he keeps the camera on it. Doesn't so much as shift its weight. Then, with no warning motion at all, no crouch, no lean, it's simply gone. He never fishes that stretch of coast after dark again, not even with a group. Demon number 15. The Shadow in the Seattle Underground, 7:40 p.m. A group of tunnel explorers films a limestone alcove, noticeably colder than the rest of the passage, their breath visibly fogging in the beam of their lights. One of them mistakes it at first for a mineral deposit, a trick of the wet stone, until the crouched shape pressed against the wall slowly, deliberately turns its head toward the camera. Not one member of the group of 10 agrees to go back down, not even in broad daylight. Demon number 14. The Thing in Crater Lake, Oregon, 6:05 a.m. A hiker films the morning mist rising off water so still it looks like glass, like the whole lake is holding its breath. A single ripple crosses the surface, with no wind at all to explain it. The camera follows the wake until it stops dead in the exact middle of the lake without anything ever emerging to break the surface. 30 seconds later, at that same precise spot, the mist begins drifting against the direction of the air. Demon number 13. The Visitor on a ranch in the Utah high desert, 3:15 a.m. A farm camera, installed only after a string of unexplained livestock attacks, triggers in the dead of night. The shape crossing the field moves at a speed that flatly doesn't match its own gait, its own stride. It stops right at the tree line, dead center in the frame, holding perfectly still for almost 2 full minutes. The rancher never puts animals back in that pen again. Not once. Not for any price. Demon number 12. The Presence on Mount Rainier, Washington, 6:30 p.m. A photographer hiking a trail known locally for old legends fires off a rapid burst of shots of the same mountain overlook on one single frame, sandwiched between 2 otherwise identical photos. A figure stands at the edge of a ridge no one could reach without full climbing gear. It doesn't appear on any other image in the entire series. Not one. Demon number 11. What lives under the pier in Galveston, Texas, 1:42 a.m. A sudden storm knocks out power to an entire neighborhood, and no technician can ever explain the outage. A security guard makes his usual rounds along the shoreline. 3 separate 911 calls that same night describe the exact same thing. Something moving low, crawling between the rocks near the waterline. He aims his flashlight between 2 waves. The video cuts out 3 seconds later and stays black. Demon number 10. The Creature on Old Route 421, backwoods of North Carolina, 6:05 p.m. A driver is heading home on a road he's known for 15 years. One he could practically drive with his eyes closed. Something is lying in the middle of the pavement. He rolls down his window, calls out, "Hey, you okay? Need help?" The head turns toward him first. The rest of the body follows half a second later, out of sync. Wrong. The proportions of the arms are off. Not broken, just wrong. Like they were sketched by someone who had only ever heard a human arm described, never seen one. It half rises and continues into the tree line without a second glance back. He never drives that road again, not even at noon. Demon number 9. The Tracks at Lake Tahoe, California, 2:50 p.m. A fisherman notices long grooves in the wet sand near the shoreline. Too even, too wide, every single one pointed straight toward the water. The lake is glass flat, not a breath of wind anywhere on the surface. The water breaks with no splash at all, just a silent, almost polite displacement, barely a disturbance. A shape watches the shore, watches the phone filming it especially, then disappears without leaving a single ripple behind. The tracks, though, are still there the next morning, untouched. Demon number 8. The Child of the Okefenokee Swamp, Georgia, 4:10 p.m. From a distance, it looks like a kid crouched on a floating log, maybe playing. A fisherman paddles closer to offer help, calling out gently. With every stroke of his paddle, some detail of the swamp goes quiet. First the insects, then the birds, then finally the lapping of the water itself, like a volume dial being turned down by hand. Total unnatural silence. The head turns toward him. 30 years fishing that same swamp, and he swears under oath he's never seen anything close to that face. Not on any animal, not on any person. Demon number 7. The Thing on the Ledge in Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, 3:55 p.m. A caving team follows a narrow passage that doesn't appear on any official map of the system. Their lights stop on a pale stone ledge deep in the dark. Something is lying on it, motionless, clearly for a very long time. The skin, if that's even what it is, has taken on exactly the color of the surrounding rock, down to the texture. The team turns around without a single word passing between them. Demon number 6. The Silhouette Pressed to the Wall, Carlsbad Caverns, New Mexico, 7:20 p.m. A flashlight beam lands on a formation that's simply too symmetrical to be mineral. It isn't a stalagmite, it's a shape pressed flat against the rock face, exactly the color of the stone around it, as if it had frozen there years ago, waiting patiently for someone to finally notice it was there. Demon number 5. What the hawk was holding in its talons. Appalachian Foothills, Tennessee, 5:45 p.m. Two wildlife photographers assume at first that a hawk has caught a rabbit mid-flight. Through the zoom lens, though, the shape struggling under the wings is nothing like a rabbit. Limbs fighting back in a distinctly bipedal posture, almost human. One detail both men keep repeating to this day: maybe the bird wasn't actually the one that caught the more dangerous prey. Demon number 4. The Sound Under the Pond, Adirondacks, New York, 8:10 p.m. Two campers hear it every single night after sunset. Something moving under the water near their site. On the last night, one of them finally films the surface. Something breaks it, slowly, deliberately, without the sudden violence of a fish. A long shape watches them from the water, completely motionless. Only one of the two ever agrees to post the footage publicly. Demon number 3. The reddish thing in the Louisiana bayou, 9:15 p.m. Two brothers navigate flooded channels after weeks of steady rain. Local oyster fishermen had already warned them about a reddish creature with eyes that looked almost human. Their light catches a red tint that has absolutely no business being there in the dark water, and two eyes reflecting the beam back without ever once blinking. The ride back to the dock happens in complete, total silence. Demon number 2. The camera that cut 3 seconds too soon. A suburban neighborhood, USA, 3:14 a.m. An ordinary home security camera triggers on motion at the edge of its frame. A low shape moving along the ground shifts in a way that matches no registered domestic animal. Nothing on file. The recording cuts abruptly, exactly 3 seconds before the shape reaches the front door of the house. And here is demon number 1, the one no one has ever dared film twice. The final testimony connected to it was never released in full, not one piece of it. Only a single detail ever leaked, repeated word for word by everyone who saw the raw footage before it vanished from the servers for good. It wasn't the demon itself that terrified them the most. It was the fact that it seemed the entire time to be filming them back. 20 demons, 20 real locations, 20 witnesses who don't look at the night the same way anymore. They're not hiding in distant legends from some other country, some other century. They're on the roads you drive home on, the lakes you swim in every summer, the security cameras in your own neighborhood right now. Tell me in the comments which of these 20 demons chilled you the most. Send this video to someone who thinks the night doesn't hide anything. And subscribe, hit the bell, because demon number 1 on the next list has never been shown to a single person until now.